Today, we are going to talk about food allergy and latex allergy, two conditions that can look mild 1 minute and fatal to your patient the next. Nearly twice as many people think they have a food allergy as actually do. Your patient says they're allergic to everything. Your job is to take it seriously and understand that true IgE-mediated allergy is a specific immune diagnosis, not just an intolerance or preference. On the latex side, prevalence is declining. That's good news, and it's directly tied to the shift to latex-free products in healthcare. You did that. Seafood, finfish, and shellfish are separate allergens, so an allergy to shrimp does not automatically mean an allergy to salmon. Exam trap right there. Peanuts are legumes, not tree nuts, but cross-reactivity still happens, so treat both seriously. The big eight also include milk, eggs, soy, and wheat. Cross-reactivity matters. If your patient reacts to one shellfish, they may react to others because the proteins are structurally similar. Always ask about the whole cluster. Oral allergy syndrome is frequently missed and frequently misunderstood. Your patient has seasonal allergies, hay fever, tree pollen, and now they're saying their mouth tingles when they eat a raw apple. That's not a new food allergy. That's OAS. The pollen proteins mimic raw fruit proteins and trigger a localized reaction. The fix is simple. Cook the food. Heat denatures the protein. Cooked applesauce is fine. This matters for patient teaching. They don't have to eliminate the food, they just can't eat it raw. When a food allergy goes systemic, it moves fast. Hives and angioedema are your warning shots. Laryngeal edema is your emergency. If your patient's throat is tightening, airway is closing, you are seconds away from a crisis. Respiratory symptoms, wheezing, cough, tell you this is no longer a skin reaction. GI cramping and vomiting can be part of the picture too. Exam trap. Students focus on hives and miss the respiratory signs. Any two-system involvement means anaphylaxis, epinephrine, now. The diagnostic pathway has a clear hierarchy. You start with history. Elimination diets and food diaries are cheap and informative. Then targeted testing, skin prick testing for IgE-mediated reactions, a Topi patch test for non-IgE. But the gold standard, the only definitive confirmation, is the oral food challenge. Know that for the exam, SPT can have false positives. A positive IgE assay alone doesn't confirm clinical allergy. The oral food challenge confirms it. It must be done in a controlled setting with emergency support available. 4 pillars. Strict avoidance is number 1, never total elimination, no exceptions. Emergency preparedness means every patient with a severe allergy has an epinephrine autoinjector prescribed and carries it at all times. Pharmacologic therapy, antihistamines and corticosteroids, manages symptoms but does not stop anaphylaxis. That's the exam trap. Antihistamines are not the treatment for anaphylaxis. Epinephrine is. OIT is the newest piece. It raises the threshold for a reaction, but it is not a cure. Your patient can still react. They just need a larger exposure to trigger it. Who is at highest risk for latex allergy? Spina bifida patients top the list. Repeated early surgical exposures sensitize them fast. Healthcare workers are next. Chronic glove exposure, day in and day out. Atopic individuals already have an overreactive immune system, so they sensitize more easily. At the bedside, this means you ask every single patient about latex allergy before any procedure. And if you work with a colleague who has a latex allergy, powdered latex gloves in the same room are a real exposure risk through inhalation. Latex exposure isn't just from gloves. Your patient can inhale aerosolized latex particles from powdered gloves across the room. Mucosal exposure, Foley catheters, airway devices, even condoms, can trigger systemic reactions. Parenteral exposure through IV tubing and hemodialysis equipment can cause rapid anaphylaxis. And don't forget balloons and household items. Patients with latex allergy need to know to avoid latex balloons completely. Your nursing assessment must cover all these routes, not just, do you have a glove allergy? 3 distinct reactions. Know them apart. Irritant contact dermatitis is not an allergy. It's mechanical and chemical irritation. Dry, cracked red skin, no immune system involvement. Allergic contact dermatitis is an allergy. Type 4, T-cell mediated, delayed, vesicles and thickened skin appearing 18 to 24 hours after exposure. That delay is the exam trap. Students miss it because the reaction isn't immediate. Then type 1 IgE mediated, immediate, systemic, life-threatening. Rhinitis to anaphylaxis within minutes. If you confuse type 4 with type 1 on the exam, you will get it wrong. Timing and mechanism are your discriminators. Diagnosis of latex allergy requires a trained provider with emergency backup. Skin testing can itself trigger a systemic reaction, so this is not done casually. Management has 2 lanes. For dermatitis, barrier creams, glove changes, remove the irritant. For systemic IgE-mediated reactions, nitrile, neoprene, or vinyl substitutes for prevention, epinephrine, fluids, corticosteroids, and airway support for acute management. Your role is to build the latex-safe environment before the procedure ever starts. Check every piece of equipment. One missed latex IV port can cause anaphylaxis on the table. If your patient is allergic to latex, you must screen them for food cross-reactivity. The proteins in latex are structurally similar to proteins in bananas, kiwis, avocados, chestnuts, and mangoes. This is called latex fruit syndrome. Your patient may have never connected their banana reaction to their latex allergy. They need to know. Ask specifically about these foods during your allergy assessment. And remember OAS from earlier. Raw fruits can trigger reactions through a pollen connection too. The cross-reactivity web is real and clinically significant. The unified nursing framework for both allergies is 4 actions. Document and identify. Ask every patient. Document in the medical record. Encourage a medical ID bracelet. Protect. Create a latex-safe environment. Eliminate offending foods from the care setting. Teach. Labels, restaurant safety, product identification, safe alternatives. React. Recognize early anaphylaxis signs and execute the emergency action plan. Epinephrine is the non-negotiable intervention for anaphylaxis, food or latex triggered. Every at-risk patient needs a prescription. Every patient with a prescription needs to carry it every single day. Not in the car, not at home, on their body. Your job is to make sure they know how to use it and that their family knows how to use it too. Teach return demonstration before they leave your care. Antihistamines buy time at best. They do not reverse anaphylaxis. Epinephrine does. Don't let your patient leave thinking a Benadryl will save them. In summary, the Big 8 triggers: OAS, diagnostic gold standard, oral food challenge, latex cross-reactivity with the latex fruit connection, 3 reaction types ranging from irritant dermatitis to life-threatening type 1 anaphylaxis. The clinical bottom line for both conditions is the same. Identify the allergen, eliminate exposure, have epinephrine accessible, and teach your patient to recognize and respond to a reaction. These patients live in the real world. Your education is what keeps them safe outside of the hospital.